Okay, nerds. This is so up and down right now. The news show is one episode will be nice and full and show me hope for the future, and then the next episode is an episode like we have today, and it's empty and sparse, and we're really leaning hard on those rumors. We do have basically one thing and everything else except for rumors. There's a couple of surprises in there, but by and large, that's what we're working with, so let's hit the intro. No real housekeeping as far as I know. Everything is still going as planned. I am still working on editing that vlog because I am still working a full-time job on top of trying to create all of this extra content. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying, though the comment section on some of the video of the reaction analysis videos is not showing me that people are enjoying it, but whatever. I stand by my opinions and my statements in all those videos. So yeah, that's kind of all I really have for housekeeping. So let's hit the news. Starting in news with music, we have two pieces. Oh wow, that's one of the heavy side. That's on the heavy side for this episode. First is just a follow-up quickie on Eat the Day, the Wes Borland project that never really saw the light of day. Ha ha ha, see what I did there? It now has seen the light of day. It has officially been released. It's only streaming right now, I believe, on Spotify. I have not seen it get posted to YouTube. Once it is posted to YouTube, we will do an analysis of at least one of those tunes. Analysis, reaction, because I haven't listened to it yet, but I do anticipate owning the album in the very near future. So that is all we have there. And the other piece of music news that we have has to do with The Sword. Stoner metal band, for those of you not initiated, they're one of the better kind of doomy stoner stuff. They recently got back together. They have been on hiatus for a while. They recently got back together, and they're going to be releasing a boatload of music. Not necessarily all of it new. Actually, very little of it will be actually quote-unquote new music. A lot of it will be stuff that people who are fans of the band, maybe more passive fans than active fans, will not have heard before, because it's by and large rare tracks, unreleased tracks, so on and so forth, and live cuts and re-recordings and so on. But we do have 52 new songs coming between two records, one called Conquest of Kingdoms, and the other called Chronology 2006 to 2018. Again, it's going to be a treasure trove for Sword fans, and actually for just like the stoner kind of metal fans as a whole, because Sword, again, is kind of fantastic. Both of these records will be releasing on June 5th, so it's not super far away, though if you are under full-on lockdown, it does seem a little far away. Hopefully we will be getting a couple of singles from the collections here in the near future, though that was kind of left vague. I did not see any promise of that, but again, it's by and large mostly stuff that they have already released. It's just like B-sides and rarities, so you can pretty much find this stuff if you're streaming, so go check it out on the YouTubes and the Spotify and wherever you stream your music until June 5th when the actual albums are released. So that's all we have for music. So now we can talk TV streaming, and I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Again, it's really strange how one episode we're full on and everything's great and it looks like things are going to be moving forward, and as far as like quarantines and lockdowns and all that stuff, we are still making some progress. Granted, it's not as fast as most, if not all of us, would want it to go, but we are staying safe and, sanitizing if we have to go out, and face masks and all that jazz. So that's all well and good, and we are lowering the curve, I think, is the terminology that we're supposed to be using, or flattening the curve. That's the word I was looking for, flattening the curve. But it's not making the entertainment news more consistent, even though we are doing what we can to flatten the curve. That being said, I know it's a really long, roundabout way of saying I don't have a whole lot of news for this episode. The first, again, in TV streaming is Doogie Houser. That's right. the Neil Patrick Harris series from the early 90s, late 80s, I believe it started in 89, is getting a reboot on Disney Plus. And this is an official announcement that it will be a spiritual sequel in a way. They're going to be changing the name, and I am going to do my best to pronounce this name, but it is now going to be called Doogie Kealoha, because it was Doogie Houser M.D. was Neil Patrick Harris. Now they're going to be focusing on a female character who lives in Hawaii, and is half Asian and half Hawaiian, I believe. And it sounds pretty interesting. Like, I dug Doogie when I was a kid. I watched it every night it was on, if memory serves. Like, it was a fair amount of time ago. But again, it gave us Neil Patrick Harris. It actually was a very family-friendly thing, and so I believe it was owned by Fox. Now Disney owns Fox, so we get Doogie Okay, I'm going to try this one more time. Doogie Kealoha M.D. We will see if this pans out like they want it to, or if this just comes across as more pandering, but it feels like one of those properties. It's like, yeah, if you're going to reboot something, this is one that could use a reboot. That's all we have for TV streaming. That's it. I mean, we do have plenty of stuff in the rumors section that deals with TV streaming, but that's it for news, like actual proper news. Next, we're moving over to movies. And movies, again, we only have one piece, but this one is a little bit more fun, I think. James Gunn recently was talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 during a quarantine watch party, and he said something during that watch party that kind of confirms a few rumors that we've been talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He said that Rocket's origin will factor heavily into the next movie. So we've talked about a few rumors that kind of deal with how they're going to flesh out Rocket's origin. So that being said, that kind of gives us a little bit more information on which rumors have legs that we've discussed about this movie previously. One of which being Rocket going to find his creator, very likely, because that is a comic book storyline, very likely is going to be a good portion of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Again, that's speculative based on rumors, but again, James Gunn did just say this is a thing that's going to happen. Just didn't give us the details like the rumor did. So hopefully the two complement one another. But that is all we have for movies. Again, there's plenty in rumors that deal with movies, but this is hard news. All right, let's move on. So now we're going to be talking gaming. We actually have two pieces in gaming as well. We got the unveiling of the new PlayStation 5 controller. They're calling it is no longer the DualShock. It is now the DualSense controller. It's a whole laundry list of minor tweaks and things that they've done, but the really big things that they've done so far is a headphone jack directly into it, so you don't have to have a proprietary connection to listen to your stuff. And actually, they're making it sound like that is going to be adding to the immersive quality of gaming for the PlayStation 5. And the other huge thing is haptic feedback has been put into the controller. Haptic feedback being basically resistance. So, and it's only in the L2 and R2 buttons. So basically, like, if you're playing, a good example would be like a racing game. The harder you squeeze the trigger, the more you squeeze the trigger, the more it the accelerator goes. Or the harder you squeeze the other trigger, the harder you mash on the brake in the game. So it's there's going to be resistance on those two buttons. So like if you're playing a game and you're shooting a bow and arrow, then the harder you pull back, the more resistance you're going to get, and the more tension you're going to create on that arrow. Shoot it farther, shoot it harder, that kind of stuff. So that's really awesome. I've honestly been hoping that this has been included in gaming for the last 2 generations, and now we're finally getting it. So that's pretty freaking cool. That is all we have on that piece. The next piece is a follow-up on E3. We do have the announcement that the the Entertainment Software Association is not going to be doing a digital version of E3. Last we talked about this, that was in the cards. They were considering it, how it might happen, what they would need to make it happen, so on and so forth. And now it sounds like it just is too big of an undertaking for them or something. They didn't exactly give details as to why they're not doing a digital E3, but they did say it's not happening. We're turning our focus now onto E3 2021. So, which also is scheduled for June of 2021, assuming we are at a functional level by then, because early reports are saying that we very well could be looking at 18 more months of lockdown potentially, which would really, really suck. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully all of the more optimistic reports are more in line with what actually is going to happen, and we will see an E3 in 2021. That is everything in gaming, though, guys. Now let's turn towards comic books, and understandably, there's very little in comic books, again, this episode, because comic books just aren't happening right now. Though we did get the official release for Fight Club 3 is coming very soon. You can order it if you have Amazon. I believe you can order it through Amazon. Comixology is more appropriate. Amazon owns Comixology. I don't know exactly where else you might be able to order it, but book retailers, I'm sure, because this is a trade book we're talking about. It is Fight Club 3 is being released in trade, so the collected edition of Fight Club 3 with a brand new introduction written by Irving Welsh. Now, that name might sound familiar to you, it might not. Irving Welsh is the author of the book Trainspotting, which the movie was very much based on. I believe Irving Welsh actually had something to do with the writing and or production of the movie as well, but he solely wrote the book. Very complimentary piece of fiction to the Fight Club book, so it's appropriate that Chuck Palahniuk got Irving Welsh to write the introduction to his collected edition of Fight Club 3. If you have not read Fight Club 3, you definitely should be picking up this trade. If you've been waiting for the trade, then honestly find the one with the introduction written by Irving Welsh. I don't believe there's going to be any other option right off the bat, but eventually if you wait too long, I'm sure they'll make when the price drops, one of the things that they're going to reduce is the size, and introductions have a tendency to not be part of a reduced size publication. So, that being said, you should check it out. You should go find this book. It's great. Chuck Palahniuk is a fantastic author, and that is all we have for comic books. So let's talk rumors, and Rumor Mill is apparently the place to be right now because all of the news is so up and down with, things are happening this week, but it's slow going, so it's not going to be another week until we get more actual news. However, rumors can pop up at any time because they're rumors and they don't have to be, based in anything other than what people want and or what people think they might have heard somewhere. So, that being said, our first rumor has to do with the Valiant comic book movie universe. That's not the official name, but just to keep it clear. So, like we've discussed in previous episodes, Vin Diesel has said that Sony was looking to create a Valiant universe in cinema. Well, the Bloodshot movie didn't do as well as planned, but it's easy to be able to blame that on the coronavirus because theaters shut down a week after Bloodshot opened. So now it's doing okay on video on demand. I honestly didn't look up the numbers specifically, but it's doing well enough that Sony is justifying going on with at least according to this rumor, going on with the Valiant universe. So this rumor specifically has to do with John Cena as well. So all of you wrestling fans, your ears might have just perked up. John Cena posted a picture on his Instagram just a couple of days ago that is an image from an XO Manowar comic. And this has let the rumor mill go bonkers because Cena is really good at doing stuff like that in the media. And now everyone is thinking, and very rightfully so, based on the picture, that Cena is going to take the starring role in the XO Manowar movie. And it only makes sense that that would be the next movie that they did because that is the next largest book that Valiant produces. So that's that. The guys over at Nerdy Legion, man, Valiant, there's a Valiant podcast, Valiant comic book podcast over there, man. I'm deferring this to you. Should this be the next Valiant movie title that comes out? I want to have that conversation because I want to talk to you guys about the Bloodshot movie. Anyway, so yeah, that's all we really have there. It's super speculative at this point because, again, it's just based off of a single image that John Cena posted. Next, we are talking about some rumors surrounding She-Hulk. And we have word through the industry, through actually a couple of sources that are super reliable and are pretty close to the things going on at Marvel, that She-Hulk is not going to be exclusively about Jen Walters. It's not going to exclusively be about She-Hulk, but instead it is going to be about Hulks, multiple, plural. That's more than one. That is I did not write down the quote that this comes from, but there was a quote from somebody attached to the project that there are going to be Hulks involved. Now, that could just be the two that we already know exist. We could just get Bruce Banner and Jen Walters, and we know, because we know both of them exist. I mean, Banner is in the MCU, and then Jen Walters, who we still don't know is going to play her, is going to be presumably in the She-Hulk series because she is She-Hulk. But there is also rumor that we're going to see General Ross, who is Red Hulk at some point in the comic books and is also in the MCU, just not as a Hulk. There is rumor that we're going to see Red Hulk in this series. We also have rumors saying that we're going to be seeing Amadeus Cho in this series. So no casting has been made public, at least at the moment, for these roles, though presumably they would want to get the title role filled before they go for the secondary roles. But either way, that's a lot of fun to think about what they could do. Maybe that's how they go into multiple seasons, is they build up Jen Walters, and then as the seasons progress, we get introduced into new Hulks every so often. That could be kind of amazing. I'm not even going to lie. That is super speculative, though, as rumors usually are. So that's all we've got there. Now let's talk about the Batman-Batgirl rumors that are going around. So first off, Batgirl is rumored to be well into early production still. So obviously not into actual photography. They're not going and filming anything right now, but they have done a lot of the pre-production for the movie, according to this rumor, and also according to this series of rumors. The Batgirl movie and the Batman movie are not going to be linked. This is kind of contradictory to a lot of the other rumors that we've been hearing, but again, there are pretty solid sources behind a lot of these rumors that deal with this, and so what they're saying is Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be the new DCEU, and it is also going to be set in present day. It is not going to be set in the past like some rumors and like a lot of us believe it is going to be. This is, again, according to this rumor. So, since that is the case, the Batgirl movie that, again, is well into pre-production, that movie is going to be more of a standalone kind of Joker kind of thing where it lives in its own micro universe. And part of the reason this rumor exists is because there is reportedly an open casting position not only for Batgirl, but also for Jim Gordon. And if you remember, we already have Jeffrey Wright cast as Jim Gordon in the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. And also, according to this rumor, they're looking to cast a white girl as Batgirl. And being as Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, aka Jim Gordon's daughter, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have a black father and a white daughter. So all of these things are leading people to speculate. And again, none of this is confirmed. This absolutely might not be happening, even kind of, but it's fun to speculate. That is all we have attached to this. Yep. So now we're going to move next into our Flash and Wonder Woman rumors. There is, if you have been living under a rock, let me catch you up to speed. Right now we are living in an uncertain time. This part is not rumor. We are living in an uncertain time as to the future of the Flash movie because Ezra Miller was drunk and chose to do some really stupid stuff, i.e. Physically harm a fan of his while at a bar in the Czech Republic, I believe is where it was. So not only did this happen, but it got caught on video. Somebody took video with their phone and saw him do this, and it was not pretty. That being said, now, understandably, Warner Brothers is considering maybe they don't want to make this Flashpoint movie. That is legitimately far along in the pre-production stages and is basically ready for principal photography as far as I understand it. We're not super far away from it, if nothing else. So because of the PR nightmare that this is, it very likely, or very possibly, I guess, will not be a movie that happens. And Ezra Miller might not be the Flash. Though there are a couple of options that they could take aside from just completely not doing the movie. They could recast. Ezra Miller could go on a press tour and apologize and make everything better. There is plenty other options that could happen. But according to this rumor, a lot of the things, remember we've talked about how Flashpoint was going to be a large part of the soft reboot, quote unquote, of the DC Extended Universe. Now it sounds like a lot of the pieces that they were trying to work in there with Flashpoint, they're now reworking into Wonder Woman. And not only that, but Wonder Woman now is apparently going to be the face of the DC Extended Universe, where Superman once was that. There is a lot of speculation going around right now that Warner Brothers is trying to do everything they can to distance themselves from the Zack Snyder stuff, and one of the best ways to do that would be to change the face of the DC Extended Universe. And with all of the current social situation that we are in, not necessarily talking about the coronavirus, but more so talking about the Women First movement and all this, it would make sense that the female of the Justice League would be the one that was the face, going based on that information. So this one actually kind of feels like it might have some legs. It remains to be seen anything that has to do with the Ezra Miller Flash stuff, though again, it is kind of a giant PR nightmare. It seems to be not as big in the news, understandably, right now, so maybe by the time we get through the Corona stuff, it will have blown over and they'll be back on good graces with Ezra Miller. Who knows? It's all speculative. It's all rumor. And we're moving on. Next, we are talking about War Machine. Moving back over to Disney, War Machine is reportedly getting a Disney Plus series. And not just that, but that is also going to be, according to this rumor, the vehicle through which we get introduced to Riri Williams. Now, the only stuff that is coming from sources that are close to Marvel, all of that just says Riri Williams. None of it makes reference to Ironheart, though it is a logical step forward to say, well, if we get Riri Williams, then we're likely going to see Ironheart in this series as well. So this potentially is going to be how we get introduced to Ironheart, which makes sense. But going back to the War Machine series, this War Machine series is going to accomplish a number of things for Disney if it is to be believed. It's going to be our Iron Man series that they've wanted to do, but they couldn't get Robert Downey Jr. to do it necessarily, though if you want to believe other rumors, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back in some way for this, in that he's going to be the voice of Riri Williams AI, which is kind of awesome. So it does that, but it also is going to be a little bit more serious in tone than a proper Iron Man series would have been, because he's War Machine, and with a name like that, it kind of brings a little bit more connotation of government war type things, right? So violence and bombs and guns and explosions and so on and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see if it sees the light of day. That is what we've got there. Next, we were talking about New Mutants. This is a quick one, and this one really makes a whole lot of sense. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth when Disney was buying Fox. New Mutants, one day it was going to video on demand, and then the next day, no, it's getting a theatrical release, and back and forth like that. Now, what with the coronavirus and all, those rumors are coming back, but this time they might actually hold a little bit of water, because a lot of stuff is going straight to video on demand. So it would kind of make sense that Disney would do this, because they are already presumably not on the most solid ground as far as promoting something that was made by Fox. So now it would be an easy out to just say, oh, we can't put this in theaters. Here you go, Disney Plus. So, and theoretically Amazon too, if you're going to pay the $20 rental fee. So that's all we have there. Now, our final rumor is a follow-up rumor for Resident Evil 8. So we're back into gaming. So Resident Evil 8, reportedly the title of the game has leaked. It's going to be Village. Somehow something to do with the way they're going to type it out or whatever. It's going to say 8 inside a village. I don't know. But that's not the rumor. That's not the whole rumor anyway. So the big parts of the rumor are, not only is it confirming the rumor from the last time we talked about this, last episode, but we also now are hearing that the protagonist that you're going to be seeing through his eyes, because in Resident Evil 7, it was also first person. So the protagonist, Ethan Winters, who was the protagonist for Resident Evil 7, is going to be the protagonist for 8 as well, so that would make sense. Also, Chris Redfield is going to be making his way back into the franchise for this game in some way. That part was the most vague part of it. It sounds like he might be coming back as a good guy, but it also sounds like there's a lot of doubt as far as that goes. But that, guys, is the rumors. That also is what we have for the episode. So what did I miss, guys? What should we talk about in the next one? Let me know in the comments down low. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, then jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net. That is the place that you can go see all of the things. Everything gets posted at generallynerdy.net, except for the stuff that's behind the paywall. That paywall exists at patreon.com/generallynerdy. That's where you get all of the paid content. So go check that out. Help me keep these lights on. Actually, help me get a new light, because this one keeps messing up on me. But again, thank you guys very, very much. Go check out all this stuff. There is plenty more over on those two sites, generallynerdy.net and patreon.com/generallynerdy. Still figuring out Comic-Con and how that's going to pan out. All of the Comic-Cons here in Colorado and Salt Lake and in potentially Arizona. Who knows at this point? So again, stay tuned for all of that. I am going to hopefully be publishing the vlog that I filmed just a few days ago. Within the next week, so stay tuned for that. Plenty more reactions are on their way to the channel. Again, stay tuned for all of that. Keep the feedback coming. I am totally okay with negative feedback too. If you guys want to talk trash, I will feed it right back to you. So not to feed trolls, but to defend my stance, because I believe it is defensible. Anyway, so thank you guys one more time. Don't forget to click one of the boxes right here below my face so that you can see all of the other things that are going on right here on the channel aside from the reactions and such. Also, don't forget to click the subscribe button, which should be, you know, right about center on my face at this point. That is so that you can get notifications. You click the ding the bell after you subscribe and get notifications every time I post the news video, every time I post any of the other stuff that I do here on the channel. That is the thing to do. And I'm getting up on my 20 seconds, so before we go though, guys, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here. Whew.